not everybody is at the altar worshiping the king of pop. Here's Congressman Peter King in New York and some comments he made.
No one wants to stand up and say, we don't need Michael Jackson. You know, he died, he had some talent, fine. But people dying every day. There's men and women dying, say, in Afghanistan. Let's give them the credit they deserve. So I really think the media has disgraced itself. I think that too many people in public life have made fools of themselves by talking about Michael Jackson as if he's some kind of hero. There's nothing good about this guy. He may have been a good singer, did some dancing, but the bottom line is, would you let your child or grandchild be in the same room with Michael Jackson? What are we glorifying him for?
I have a tape of him that I play on my radio show. It was in that Bashir interview when he went on and he said, well, I light a fire, I sleep with children, sure. I give them cookies and milk, and really a bizarre person. Nobody's allowed to talk about the bizarre side of Michael Jackson?
No one is allowed to talk about it. I got to tell you, I have 2 kids. I would never trust my children with him. This is a self-hating black man who didn't want to be black, who changed his appearance, he butchered himself, and he clearly molested children. Sean, you know I used to prosecute child sex crimes. It is classic abuse. I've read the transcripts. I've read the statements by these children.
Yeah, but those witnesses, I don't want to defend him because I think he was very one strange human being. But by the way, started out as a great talent. But he was acquitted in the case, and I'm talking about witnesses,
one acquittal, yes, but we're talking about 3 children. I give him the 1 kid because my experience is that children don't lie. Boys don't lie about being molested by men, Sean, and that is a statistical fact. But he also molested 2 other children, and he paid them off $20 million.
Well, why does nobody say that? I mean, I understand the human instinct not to attack people who recently died, but the orgy of adulation and throne sniffing is disgusting.
It's
I like Pete King anyway, but Pete King's statement is enough. I wish I lived in New York so I could vote for him for King based on what he said.
That was one of the more. He talks about embarrassing people in the news media being embarrassed. King, he could play a role in The Sopranos, ought to shut his mouth. They're putting this guy in a grave this week. He should shut his mouth because he needs to have the decency, which King has never had the decency to understand this. They are going to put this guy. His family's going to bury him this week. Give it a break until next week. He didn't molest anybody. He did not. No, he didn't. He was never convicted. He was never convicted. So you laugh because there's a homophobic reaction right there.
Homophobic? What's that?
Look. The fact of the matter is, this was.
What if you're against child molestation? You're homophobic?
First of all, nobody.
There's no
there was no jury of his peers.
Homosexuality and child molestation.
This has been a tough panel today.
Hang on.
So what?
One at a time.
That's the law, right?
$20 million.
You can't prove that you can't prove he was dead. That's not the point. The point is that the guy is dead. It was a sad life. It's too bad. The 1.8 million people, by the way, you know who's doing that? That's Sony Records getting themselves a mailing list.
Can I be honest? You're more nuts about defending Michael Jackson than I am about Governor Palin.
I can't stand to listen to Peter King shoot his mouth off like that.
He was
the guy is running for statewide office. I hope he gets beat by 80 points.
He ought to be appointed to the job after saying that he's the only person I have seen on television tell the unvarnished truth about it without embarrassment. Good for Pete King. He's telling you
don't ever take his car keys though, because
let me tell you something. The guy, what was wrong with him that he needed to change his facial features? What was wrong with
self-hatred?
What was look? I looked at him when he was 5 years old and with the Jackson 5. This kid was gifted by God in terms of his singing and dancing ability. He was incredible. What went wrong in his life? If all these drug allegations are true, sleeping with other...
He's a very troubled...
But sleeping with
But children, why are we lionizing him? Why all the adulation?
The point is this. I'm only trying to say that this is the week that this guy is being buried. He's got a family. He's got children. At a minimum, we could hold back on this stuff until next week.
Well,
if you want to, I don't think it's appropriate at all myself. But all I'm saying is that this guy had a very difficult. I'm not defending his actions or anything else.
Well, you actually are defending his actions. Yes, you are. You're saying he didn't molest children.
I find Peter King. Well, first of all, again, I'll go back. You can't prove that, but Peter King certainly can't prove it.
Yes, you can.
And Peter King ought to just keep in mind here. He's got about the sensitivity of the Sopranos, which is what he ought to be.
Pol Pot was never convicted of any crime. We know he was guilty. No, he actually wasn't. He hid in the forest until he died, at which point we criticized him. We didn't wait until Pol Pot was buried.
Now you're comparing Michael Jackson to Pol Pot?
I'm just saying, Michael Jackson paid off.
You guys are off the wall.
He ruined their lives.
You guys are just I mean, I can't believe this. I cannot believe the insensitivity at this table.
That's insensitive to say so?
This guy was a drug addict who had a terrible addictive problem, and the fact that you could sit here and say these things about him before they put him in the ground.
It's truthful.
It's truthful.
Wait, I want to focus in on this. It's truthful.
It's truthful.
Why can't we speak the truth? Because I found him one of the strangest human beings on the face of this earth. I'm sorry that he died, Bob. I really am. I'm
It's
sorry
always
for his
sad.
children.
Sure.
But you know what? Something went radically wrong, and people are bowing at the altar and worshiping a human being.
What do you think his two children would think if they saw that he saw that moron Peter King say what he said
just
tonight?
like Elvis Presley.
We're going to get Daddy Dearest books from those children. We don't know what's going on with those children.
Think about his children watching this show. Just think about his children.
Think about the children he molested, Bob.
You don't know that.
What do you mean? Then why did he pay the kid $20 million?
I've read the affidavits.
The fact of the matter is that the guy is now dead. He mutilated himself. He had a lot of problems.
What were you going to say? You read the transcripts.
I read the transcripts. I read the affidavits. I've prosecuted child sex crimes. He groomed these children and he molested them, and then he paid them off, and that is why he wasn't convicted.
Why didn't they prosecute
and let's remember the
why
children.
Didn't they prosecute him?
Beckel, that's the last time we bring you on for this topic.
The prosecutors could have prosecuted him.
He
We
paid
are
them
out of
off.
Couldn't prosecute because they never came.
Guys,
Victim doesn't
great
testify.
panel. We got to go. That is all the time we have. Let not your heart be troubled. The news continues.